Hi, I'm Emily Spain, and welcome to the Boone County History and Culture Center, home of the Boone County Historical Society and the Boone County Hall of Fame. Regrettably, this year we were forced to cancel our annual History Makers Hall of Fame Gala. We are looking forward to enshrining sculptor Sabra Tell Meyer, MBS textbook exchange, and the late Dr. Hugh Stevenson into the Hall of Fame. We can assure you the Historical Society will recognize them with an in-person gala on October 9th, 2021 at the Atrium in downtown Columbia. We thought we'd give you a tour of the center's exhibits, give you a peek at the underground collection vault, and tip our hat to this year's Hall of Fame enshrinees. Please meet the Historical Society's Executive Director, Chris Campbell. So this is one of the first exhibits when you come into the center. She got the vote.
Right. Well, this year, 2020, is the centennial of the 19th Amendment. And last year, many months ago, we thought it was important to recognize this important amendment to the Constitution on its 100th anniversary, especially because Columbia and Boone County women played a significant role in helping Missouri pass that vote in 1919.
Well, when you walk in the room, your eye is immediately drawn to these white dresses and all of this gold. So talk me through a little bit about this display.
This type of dress was the uniform of the activists of that movement and of the day. Uniformly white, and the colors are not by accident. Gold and purple and white were all specifically chosen, and you see those in the photographs of the era time and time again. And these three pieces, these beautiful pieces, are from our textiles collection here at the Historical Society.
Let's walk over here. I want to know a little bit more about this display and what this meant during that time period.
These antique pieces are from our collections as well, and this display is simply meant to illustrate in kind of a tableau how this movement came about and gained traction, because it happened in homes, in people's homes, men and women alike. So this is just kind of an example of what you might see in a parlor at the time. We're talking about the 19-teens. This is where all the Columbia and Boone County committee people met in individual homes. And the papers that you see there are actual copies of the minutes of the very first meeting of the Columbia Equal Suffrage League.
So actually from right here in Columbia.
That's right.
Neat. Okay, let's walk me through some of these photos over here and what they mean.
Sure. Well, this exhibit basically takes the visitor on kind of a sequential trip down those 19-teen years, specifically 1912 to 1920. This is one of my favorite panels because it illustrates something that happened in St. Louis, Missouri that gained national attention and was actually very important to the movement. It's called The Golden Lane because of a little ditty that a St. Louis newspaper reporter wrote after he witnessed this demonstration. The women across the United States, and certainly in Missouri, decided early on, as a matter of strategy and tactics, that they were not going to be loud in their demonstrations. And this event that occurred in St. Louis at the Democratic National Convention was called the Golden Lane because 7,000 women actually lined Locust Street from the hotel where the nation's Democratic men were staying and the convention center 10 blocks away, and stood silently in their white dresses and golden parasols. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. And basically, it was a silent demonstration. They literally just stared the men down. The men were forced to walk in between them because it was the only way to get to the convention center. And the message was clear. We need you to vote for suffrage to put on the Democratic platform when you get in that convention hall. And it was very effective, and like I said, it made national news.
So even though it wasn't loud, it was still extremely powerful.
Yes.
That visual.
Absolutely.
To see that. What is this up here?
This is an illustration that also occurred in the newspapers and magazines of the day, an illustration of an actual tableau that the women put together at that same Democratic National Convention in St. Louis. They literally had women in all these costumes representing the status of suffrage in different states across the Union. So the women that are dressed in black and are in mourning are the states that haven't yet passed suffrage. Therefore, the women don't have that right. The women that are in the white flowing dresses and they look very happy and free are the states that have already passed suffrage. And then there's some representation of international countries where women already have the vote. But this was also a major PR opportunity that got a lot of attention during the same week as the Golden Lane.
And you also have some special pieces in here that are specific to our area.
That's right. The exhibits over in this corner of the room were produced by our local League of Women Voters. This display case shows us all of the past presidents of the local chapter, Columbia and Boone County League of Women Voters, and a little history about them going back to the 19-teens. And the display cabinet behind you also is illustrative of many pieces of memorabilia that the local chapter has and their history. And we also have got some political cartoons of the era, which we found fascinating, including one that appeared in the Missourian in 1920.
So while this is very much so a national movement, there was a lot happening right here where we call home.
There was a lot happening, and that's one of the reasons why we felt it was important to put this exhibit together. Not just the timeliness of it, but to remind people that there were activists right here in our community doing that work that helped propel the movement to a point where women finally got the right to vote. And you see the photograph up there on the wall. That is the governor of the day in 1919, Governor Frederick Gardner, signing the ratification that would allow Missouri women the right to vote.
Big moment. Neat. So not only is this an anniversary, the centennial of the women's right to vote, but also another big anniversary, the bicentennial for Boone County. And you have got a large display in here to tell me about that.
That's right. Our Westernmost History Gallery is dedicated to this year's bicentennial of Boone County's founding, 1820 to 2020. And of course, that's, if you're the Historical Society, that's not something you can afford to skip. So we're very proud of this. Came together with a lot of help from some terrific partners in the community, including the Boone County Bicentennial Committee, including local historians David Sapp, Greg Olson, and Dr. Larry Brown. And it's got a lot of terrific pieces. One that we're really proud of is this authentic 18th century covered wagon.
Yeah, it's hard to miss when you walk.
It's really hard to miss.
The first thing you see. So this is not from Boone County, but it still has ties.
Correct. It still has ties. It is authentic, but it is owned by and loaned to us by Boone Countyans, Bill and Judy Heffernan, and their daughter Lisa. The Heffernan family goes all the way back to the beginning of Boone County in an area called Thralls Prairie, and we're very pleased to have this here. You know, it's a favorite of kids and older people alike. I think a lot of people are surprised it's as small as it is, because it's really, you know, it's less than 3 foot wide, and while it might be 12 foot long, this is what a family would bring their entire life in, traveling many times from Kentucky and Tennessee to settle in central Missouri in the early 18-teens and the 1820s.
So I guess you could call this the family SUV from back in the day.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it was.
All right, so another piece that really stood out to me when I came in the room was this uniform. And you said this is the original, and what's in the photo?
This Civil War era uniform is in our collections. We're very proud of it. This overcoat belonged to local General Odon Guitar. He was named a brigadier general after the war in honor of his service. This is his saber, and his pocket Bible is on the desk there. And this is a photograph of the general actually wearing this coat. It's in fantastic condition, and we thought it would be a perfect addition to a bicentennial exhibit.
Yeah, it almost looks like a replica, but this is the original.
It's in such good shape. You're right. You're right. That is the original, and we're very proud to be in possession of it.
Wow. Okay, so back here, it's hard to miss these beautiful prints, and that these are places that, you know, we probably drive by all the time in town.
Yes, although it's probably hard to recognize them 140, 50 years later. All of these gorgeous prints were made for the 1875 Boone County Atlas. We don't know the name of the artist of most of them, although we believe that one artist probably did the majority of them. But we had them digitized from one of our original 1875 atlases and enlarged because we thought they'd be a terrific addition. These were the leading men and the leading citizens of the county, of course, in 1875 were all going to be white men. These were their homesteads. And in that era, people took a lot of pride in showcasing their farmland, their house, their cattle, their properties. And so all of these beautiful prints, there's about 15 of them here, represent that era in a very unique way, and we thought they'd be a great addition.
And I think I even saw the university over here too. That's
right.
Neat to see. That's probably the one you might recognize the most if you were just to glance at them.
True, true. A lot of the others, some of these original homes, most of these original homes do not stand any longer. But the names are all familiar. There's a lot of familiar names along this wall.
So Chris, I have to ask, because it's hard to miss and certainly hard to ignore, this beautiful mural here on the back wall.
Yeah, let's go visit it. This mural is called The Treasures of Boone County, and it was commissioned by the Boone County Bicentennial Committee, who came together 3 years ago and started planning everything they wanted to do this year to celebrate the bicentennial. And of course, because of the health crisis we've been in, a lot of those in-person plans were not able to take place. But one of the projects that they commissioned before COVID hit us and was fulfilled was this mural. It's about 28 feet tall. It is vast, 11 feet wide, and it's an 8-piece jigsaw puzzle. And the muralist who conceived of it and helped create it, Stacy Wildy Self, went to each one of the townships throughout the county and invited the community members of each one of those towns and communities to participate. So it has the brushwork of hundreds of Boone Countyans throughout 2019. She put her professional finishing touches on it. We unveiled it here on March 12th, about a week before we had to close because of the coronavirus. We're back open again 3 days a week, and people can come enjoy it for the rest of this calendar year. And then at the end of this year, it will be dismantled, and each one of the 8 pieces will go back to those individual communities where they can display it where they wish and as they please.
Yeah, it's really neat to see, Boone County come to life in color. I see the river, I see the university, I see the fields. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and the fact that each one of those towns contributed to it and had put in what was important to them, whether it was a favorite building of theirs, whether it was a community event. There's lots of equestrian history built into this mural. It's really fantastic, and I don't know that it will ever come together in one piece again in the future. I hope it does, but part of why the community wanted to commission this is they thought it would last for a very long time.
Pretty amazing work there. Chris, thank you so much for showing me around. I definitely learned a few new things today about the place that I call home.
Thank you for letting me.
I want to welcome you now to the Center's We Project exhibit. I'm going to introduce you here to the producer and photographer of the project, Valerie Berta, and one of the participants, Danielle Kelly. Thank you both for joining us today, and I'm excited to hear more about this project. So tell me, what does it focus on? What is the focus of this We Project?
The We Project is a series of portraits and videos of people who belong to marginalized groups in mid-Missouri.
And Danielle, you got to be a participant in this project. What has that meant to you to be a part of this?
It's like I'm ecstatic, man. To me to be a part of this, I always thought that the body and the mind is part of the environment. So, and that's pretty much what the We Project is to me. That's what it means to me. We're trying to change the environment. So.
Awesome. Take us through some of your photographs here. And you wanted to start with this one.
So this is Erica Neville. She is the principal of Douglas High School here in Columbia and a really active member of the community. So it was really important for me to include her in this project because she embodies the spirit behind it, giving back and being a positive influence in the community.
I love the movement in the photo. Is that something you talked through when you were?
Yeah, because she was wearing these beautiful braids, and so I had her pose the way that I have most people pose, you know, in different positions. She was seated, she was standing, and then I just couldn't help but ask her to do something, move in a way that would show off her beautiful braids, and she did. And the funny thing about this, the backstory on this picture is that I usually take a lot of frames as a photographer and then zoom in and select or edit one out of many, because the slightest change in expression in a portrait especially is really important. And in this one, I took one shot.
Wow.
So
that's all it took.
just got lucky, I guess, yeah.
Take me through a few more of these portraits here.
So this is Ana Garcia. She's actually from Mexico, Missouri. And Ana is a DACA recipient. So I was really also intent on having her participate in the project. Ana and I met at an event. She speaks out about DACA and immigration quite a bit. And so she's an important voice as well in the Mid-Missouri community, and I really wanted her to be here.
Okay, who's next?
And this is Addison Mcguire, whom I met when I went out to Booneville, again with the idea of branching out of Columbia and focusing on different communities. Addison is a trans man from a really, really small town in Missouri called Higbee, which I didn't know where it was when he told me about it.
But that poses its own challenges, being in a rural community.
Exactly, yeah. And he is a resident in a medical school in Kansas City, so has a busy schedule and couldn't make it.
Danielle, what is it like for you to see these different pictures of people that are in these marginalized communities? What's it like to see the other participants' photos?
It's beautiful. I mean, just to look at a person's image and they're saying something by not saying nothing, you know, and that's what drew me to the project when Miss Valerie first called me, because I mean, they're talking to us through their images, and I'm a participant as well. So, and to see me in a portrait, especially the banner, it just brings a lot of, not only to just the environment, but to myself. You know, it has me thinking about what is really going on with, you know, with my life, and just by not saying nothing to, you know, in a portrait. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very powerful.
Very.
So Valerie, how many people do you have in this project so far?
I'm not sure, quite a bit. It's an ongoing project. I like to say that as long as people will be marginalized by the greater society, there will be a we project.
I've learned just from walking through and reading the captions is that all of these people are here in our community, in the same place that I call home, that you might not even realize the variety, the color, the personality that lives among you.
And they all bring something positive, and most of the time we don't see it, and we don't listen, we don't see them. We see what we're being taught to see, what Danielle was talking about, right? We hear about somebody's experience in life, and immediately we judge, we put in boxes, we label, we discriminate, we divide, instead of embracing their humanity and who they are.
Danielle, how have you felt that? You've experienced that.
Yes, I mean, 'cause you never know, even throughout my day, you never know what I be thinking or what I've been going through throughout my life. But, you know, when you have someone that gives you hope, like Miss Valerie, gave me hope just by standing in front of a camera, you know, and taking pictures of me because she thought I was worthy of doing that. So, and she didn't know me, I mean, for real. That was her first time meeting me, and she thought I'd be a good candidate for the Weed Project. And that just gave me a little bit more hope, because I had just started off in reentry. And she just pushed me a little bit more forward by giving me hope about just being and just taking portraits for her, giving me an opportunity to be seen, you know what I'm saying, in front of a camera or by pictures. And that was enough for me to keep moving and staying in recovery. So, and like I said, I thank her for that. And I encourage other people to do the same, because there's a lot being said when when someone like Miss Valerie just take you up under her wing and just give you an opportunity to be seen in a picture for other people can see you, you know, and that just, it only takes something as little as that to keep a person on track like myself, and I'm not gonna let myself down. I most definitely today won't let her down, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm in recovery and I'm a recovering addict. So I take that in perspective and I keep moving forward. And this right here, seeing my picture on that banner out there, that just even give me even bigger hope. You know what I'm saying? To keep focusing, keep pushing, you know, and give other people that's in the same situation that I'm in, to give them hope as well, to let them know it can be done.
Thank you both. We're walking down into the basement. This is the collection vault area, and that's where they keep images from years and years ago. And walking here into one of these vaults, I'm going to introduce you to Karen Miller. She's a lead volunteer in this project and really a catalyst for founding this lab. Karen, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
So what are you doing down here?
I am working on sleeving this glass plate, which is, I work for hours on Wednesdays and Thursdays. This is what I do as my volunteer time. And what I do is I go to the photographer negative, I identify the number that's on it, that takes me into the book. I go to where it is, I know by this, it was filmed on February 4th, 1928. And I know that this one was filmed for the Savitar, and it is a fraternity member. So then I'll go to the Savitar and I'll look this person up, and hopefully it'll tell me what his hometown is, and will tell me the fraternity that he's in, and I'll put all that information on the sleeve. I'll put it in the box, and I do 30 of them, and then that moves over to the digital lab.
So very detailed and tedious work you're doing down here.
It is. But you know, it's something I enjoy doing. I like detail work.
So why is this so important?
It's important for our community that we preserve our history, and we have this wonderful collection and nobody can see it if we don't do this kind of work and are able to get it out. And yeah, we can have an exhibit every year or two, but that shows a minuscule amount. And since this last quarter, we were able to launch our online collection as part of our website. And so now we're adding new photos on a regular basis for family members to be able to maybe find their loved ones.
Wow. What are some of the most interesting things that you've found as you've been doing this work?
Well, you know, most of the work that I'm working on the Blackmore collection right now, and most of it has been, it's not so much community pictures, it's more photos for the Savitar, the Crescent, the Stevensonia for Stevens College, or the Widow for Columbia College, which was Christian College. And so, but every once in a while you'll get one that's just stunning, the clothing that's in it, especially some of the Stevens gals that were photographed. They're just beautiful. You know?
So
everybody
incredible.
always dressed up so much. And even in the university, I mean, suits and ties and nice dresses for women, and not like we see today so much.
Lots of memories in this room.
Oh, I'm sure there are for many people. And hopefully what little bit of work we do is able to help our community recognize the asset that they own as part of Boone County Historical Society.
I'm Michelle Baumstark, Chair of the Boone County Historical Society's Hall of Fame 2020 event. And I want to thank you for watching our behind-the-scenes tour today of the Boone County History and Culture Center. And I'm excited to encourage you to attend next year's event in person at the atrium.
I'm very honored to have been chosen as one of the honorees for this great occasion. Thank you.
gonna hurt